Right, so this is a Ginkgo Biloba, which is a cutting from a much larger tree that I did a few years back. Last year I had some seeds from my flag iris, which I just popped in a few pots, and as you can see this year they've grown up. So what I'm going to do now is take it out of the pot, tease out the roots a little bit, take out the little seedlings of the flag iris, and I'll repot those up in another pot, and then we'll repot the tree back into its pot. There's a nice dead branch here which I'll just cut off, and we'll see how we go. So let's get it out of the pot. Just easing it out from the sides. I think the root goes fairly deep in there. Oh yeah, the roots are coming out the bottom of the pot, so that's really well rooted. That's got it. Right. So you can see the roots of the flag iris intertwined with the roots of the ginkgo. So let's just tease those out. Let's get a chopstick. Be very gentle, just to knock away the akadama slightly. So that's actually gone inside another root there, so got a small one here. Let's try and get this one out of the way. So I want to try and keep as much root on the seedlings as possible. So you've just got to be very gentle. Take your time, just tease it out little by little. Right, yeah, that's gone right down to the bottom, that one. There we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, under there, look. All the white roots belong to the seedlings. No, he's still stuck in there. It's coming. Just a little bit inside there. It's stuck in the root of the ginkgo. That's what's causing it. Right, here we go. There he comes. So that's just the growth that it's made this year. So just put it aside for a moment. Try and get the others out. It's going to be best to work it from the bottom, I think. Take out the soil that's holding the root in, and then you can tease it out from the roots of the ginkgo. So it's a nice open mix that's making it nice and easy to separate, which is good. It's mainly akadama. There's a little bit of grit in it as well, from what I can see. I think there's a very tiny little shoot there. It's got some roots on, so that's good. We'll keep him. In a couple of years' time, I'll be planting these in the garden. Hopefully, we get some nice flowers from them. Not sure how long it'll take before we get flowers. So I've never grown these from seed before, so that'd be a nice little experiment. I'm not expecting anything for at least 3 or 4 years probably, until the corm gets nice and big. They do like to have their root bases baked in the sun, so we put them in a nice sunny spot. That one's going to come out, I think. Yep, it's coming. There we go. It's another nice long set of roots on that. Right, so it's just this big one. Yeah, he's very entangled in these roots. I might have to sacrifice some of the root on this. Let's get that big bit of soil off of there. That might loosen it a bit. There we go, that's better. Let's get that root out of the way. There it comes. Nearly there. There we go. So that's the bit that's causing a problem. Look at that. Lovely. Really nice set of roots on that one. That's going to make a nice strong plant, that one. There's another very tiny one with a... That's the seed that I planted. can see the little round ball there. That was the seed, and it's obviously sprouting out some new roots. So we've got that one as well. There's another one there. Yeah, so that's just starting to sprout. So what I'll do, I'll just comb through this quickly, see if I can find any more. The small ones. Doesn't look like there's any more in there. A little bit of excess fruit, but there's no more seedlings by the look of it. But that's not so bad. Quite happy with those ones. Right, so let's have a look at the ginkgo. So these have very fleshy roots, the ginkgos. As I said in one of my other videos, it's one of the oldest trees known to man. These were around in prehistoric times, and it's believed that the dinosaurs fed on them. So they've been found in the fossil records, so they haven't changed in millions of years, these trees. It's a very primitive tree, but a very successful tree. It's lasted all those years, where probably millions of other species have died out. And as you can see, it gets these little nodules on. They store the nitrogen from the soil. They normally get a real massive root like this. It's very hard to separate them out and get a nice root flare with them. You'd have to keep on rigorously repotting it and training the roots to get a nice root flare. It's not something that I'm really too bothered about. I love it for the shape of the leaves, where they split like so. I found out recently that you can get male and female versions of this tree, and the leaves that are split in two are the males, and if we have a leaf without a split, then it's a female. So that's something I learned from a rather well-known bonsai expert in the country. He does lots of videos which I watch on a regular basis, and I didn't know you had male and female versions of the same tree of this particular variety. But as they say, you can learn something new every day. So before I put it back in the pot, I think we'll take off, let me just double check, make sure that is dead and not just dormant. If I just scratch a bit of the bark away, yeah, it's brown underneath, so if it's brown it means it's dead, if it's green it's alive. So I can quite easily take that off, that's not a problem. I'll leave a little bit of a stub just so that if we get a hard winter, that can die back a little bit and it won't affect the main trunk. So it's quite a nice little tree, or it will be in a few years' time. You need to let this second branch here grow out to match this one. So next year I'll take the top out of that growing point, I think. So we can hopefully encourage this, and then I'll possibly restrict some of the top growth to bring the vigour to the bottom of the tree. So at the moment we've got 3 buds very close together there. 2 look like they're on the same side of the tree, which you don't really need. So if I take out the bottom one, in fact there are 4 there. If I take out the bottom 2, that's going to help with that design aspect. Then that one goes left and right, that comes in the middle, that goes at the back. Yep, I'll leave that as that for now. I'll repot that little piece of leaf that I've cut off there. I think we can take this massive root off the end. I'll just cut it back to where the feeder roots are coming out. And that'll give it a more compact root ball. Right, let's put it back in the pot. Scoop. firm that bottom layer down a little bit. Test it for level in the pot. Yep, so let's make a mound in the middle to sit it on. I always prefer to put a pile in the middle to get the middle of the root ball on it, and then spread out the roots as best you can around it before you then settle it into the pot. So there we go, they're nicely spread around. Right, that's it. Put those in as best you can and fill in the spaces. Makes it easier to deal with it. Right, so let's just firm that down a bit. I'm going to be very careful with the firming on this because of the delicate roots on this tree. They do break very easily. So what I'll do is just firm it in slightly like this. I'll put it in some water so that it takes up a good amount of water. Let all of the soil sink in and around the roots, and then just top it up again until there's enough to hold it nice and firm. So that's that one done for now. So I'm not going to do anything else with it. Just going to let it grow. Most of the ginkgos, just let them grow in what they call the flame style, which is multiple trunks just going straight up. I'm lucky enough, I've got a couple of about 5 or 6 ginkgos in my collection, and most of them have got nice interesting trunks to them, which is an unusual thing for a ginkgo, but it's good to look at. So I'm quite pleased that they're not just the bog standard straight up and down. They have at least got side branches and some interest in them. So I'm going to put 3 of these in here, the 3 bigger ones can go in here, and then next year we'll probably repot them again into individual ones. I'll just go on getting them a little bit bigger than they are now. I'm going to put them in the greenhouse so that they get a little bit of protection. Don't want any frost to get them or anything like that. The nights are now starting to become a little bit colder in England. We're going into autumn, so we can at any time get a sharp overnight frost. And on newly potted trees, that's something you don't want because it can kill the roots off. So I'm going to be a little bit careful with these. Now I'll put them in the greenhouse just to give them that little bit of protection, so they don't, if the frost does come, it won't actually get them. It'll always stay just above freezing in the greenhouse, which is going to be ideal for these little fellas. That's a bit too much soil. Just take some of that off. Right, so hopefully in a few years' time we'll have some nice deep blue flowers on these. It's one of my favourite flowers, the iris. I've got some irises in the pond, and I've got a big clump of these at the top of the garden, which is where I got these babies from. Say it set seed last year, and it's setting seed again this year, so I'll be collecting some more seed this year and planting some more, so hopefully next year we'll have a lot more of those. So just got these small ones here. I'll get another pot and we'll put those in. Right, so this one has already got some mesh in it, which is good. Tidy it up a bit, that's better. got some down here. That should be plenty. Put that one to one side there and just drape his root through there. That's better. That should be okay for him. Go with that root down a bit deeper. Then these three small ones, I'm just going to put them by the edge of the pot. Make it easier to hold them in place. They're just starting to sprout their leaves out as well, so again these will go into the greenhouse. I might, on these ones, because they're so much smaller, I might put a plastic bag over these just to keep a nice moist atmosphere around them. That way it's easier to water them as well. You water them probably once a week, once every couple of weeks probably, because the moisture stays in the bag. They can easily damp off and die. So especially with being at work, if you don't get home in time one day, it's been a hot day, and they succumb to the heat, put them in a bag can protect them and give them the moisture they need to survive. So I'll put them under the bench in the greenhouse so they don't get the direct full sun. I'll keep them near to the door so they can get some fresh air, and then at night I'll close the door up just to give them the protection from the frost. I might move them slightly further back into the greenhouse, but that's those. So thank you very much.